my next anime review, I am doing the full season review of Momentary Lily. This anime is done by Studio Gohans and it is rated PG-13. Now that I have watched all of Momentary Lily, I am a bit mixed on this show. Let me talk about the positives and what I actually really liked about the show before I start going into my negative. The girls themselves, Yuri, Uzumi, Ayami, Erika, Ranga, Yoshino, those 5 characters, I thought they were very likable in their own right, and there's really no character in this show that I really dislike. There were a few surprises that they were able to throw at me genuinely. The ending, I thought they wrapped up almost the entirety of the mystery that the show has been building up to. I thought they resolved and answered most of those questions. The only question they did not answer was where the machines, or also known as the Wild Hunt, came from. They left that very vague, left to the interpretation of the audience, which I thought was fine. It was my most ideal way for them to handle that, but I'm sure some people will like that. The music as well, I thought was really good. I enjoyed the opening theme, I enjoyed the ending theme. In fact, the opening theme to Momentary Lily is by far one of my favorites of last season. The music does a lot of heavy lifting in the show because it is genuinely a great soundtrack. The same goes with the visuals. The show is gorgeous to look at. It's got a really unique look to it that I really like. I enjoyed all of the character designs. I don't think there were any bad character designs in this show. And I did think the Wild Hunt was very unique looking, and I enjoyed the characters' music and visuals overall. There's in those departments, there's really nothing to complain. There's really nothing for me to complain about in those instances. Unfortunately, I can't say the same thing about some of the story beats and some of the pacing. With all 13 episodes, I really do feel like they were just stretching this story out to fit the 13 episodes, because it felt like they stretched what would be like a 5 to 7 episode miniseries into a full 13 episode long season. And because of that, during the middle episodes of this show, it really feels like this show just drags to a screeching halt because it feels like they're just padding time. There were several episodes that just felt like busy work and just felt like padding. Now granted, I still did enjoy those, but by the 3rd or 4th episode, it was starting to get a bit grating with how much padding I felt like with how much padding they were stuffing into this show. Thankfully, during the later half of this season, stuff does start to pick up and they start to resolve all of the mysteries, and I thought they did it in a clever way. The story, unfortunately, is rather kind of predictable, if I'm gonna be honest. Nothing is horrendously written here. It's just, I can't see how someone would not like this show because of how the story is structured, how they go about the storytelling, and because of the padding, the pacing of this show suffers quite a bit. The beginning first few episodes, I thought the pacing was really good, but then when we get to the middle portion of this show, the pacing gets really messy, and there were a few times that I was seriously thinking of dropping this show because of the padding and some of the really terrible pacing. But thankfully, the last 4 or 5 episodes I thought really picked up the pace, and I thought they had a pretty good payoff, like I was talking before. They answer most of the mysteries and the questions that they were looming over our heads. They answer why the girls how the girls got their weapons, and they answered how the Wild Hunt was able to erase almost all of humanity. And I thought it was an interesting twist. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, I'm not going to spoil anything for this season finale, for the ending of this series. I'm gonna be honest. This show was pretty good. I thought this show ended very strong, and overall, I am left fairly satisfied. Now, granted, that's just me. Like I said, I can understand wholeheartedly if you did not jive or really enjoy this show all that much. But with that being said, my final score for Momentary Lily is a solid 7 out of 10. The show has its rough spots. Some of the pacing is downright awful. They're in the middle of this season. There's a little too much padding, for my opinion. But regardless of those issues, I do feel like the payoff, the animation, the music, the characters, I thought that held up the show enough to justify giving this show a 7. All right. Without further ado, I do want to thank you for watching till the end of this review. Now, I do apologize for the hiatus. As of late, I got a new job, and I was having the worst problem trying to find a place, and that was one of the main reasons why I wasn't able to put out any videos for over a month. Anyway, as usual, this is the Rider. I'm out.